What is good, y'all? I just finished my 20,000 steps, and I wanted to knock out the post market analysis. Um, this week has been really good in terms of the gems. I thought I was recording live like for about 2 weeks, and then I started a new project, and I realized I wasn't on the stage, so y'all couldn't hear me. So Monday is one of the first times you heard me talk my trades through. And but I think we've just been so blessed. Like every day, it's been 3 days. This is the third day. Has just been so information rich in terms of the way that IWM moves, and it has been a blessing for me too because I feel like it's one thing to journal, but there's just something about talking it out and talking through it that just helps to reinforce. Plus, if I feel like if I'm helping people, then it makes me a little bit more cautious on what I'm calling out. So I took 4 trades today. Um, the biggest, I think, most important thing. Um, I hope that when you listen to these, moving forward too, that you also have your calendars. At some point, as we're building our community, there's community, our trading community. There's going to be several key things that you're going to need to kind of like keep up with us. So you're going to need your journal that you can write in. I actually like the smaller ones. I think this is like an 8 by, or maybe like a 6 by 9 journal. And then I have this pretty big, like, flippable calendar. I think it has like 2 or 3 years, but the boxes are really big and they have lines in there. So I've noticed I've done so much better when I put my notes in there. So um, on the big calendar, I'm going to put that we had a 1 hour gap. IWM loves to fill gaps. We also did have the 322 strat show up. That did throw me off just a little bit. Um, but I remember when we were recording live for this morning. I one thing I know about IWM, she does like to fill gaps. The thing is, sometimes she will kind of like do exactly what she did today, which is she'll go to the upside and then fill it later in the day. Um, I jumped in just a little bit too early, like literally just seconds too early. And again, it's just reaffirming for myself. Let's just really wait until that uh, internal breakout shows up for the first one, right? And so what happened here is literally within seconds that I got in here, price bounced, and then we got confirmation that we're going to the upside. And so here you saw this this is where I put the calendar. Come on, girl. This is where I put the circle. This is when we started to flick for the internal breakout to the upside. And today, so I just as quickly as this came up within the first 3 minutes, I exited my trade. So I was really proud of myself. I kept my losses really small. As soon as I saw that, I was trading in the wrong direction, I jumped out. So super proud of myself for that. Because sometimes I do have problems, like, a little bit of difficulty pivoting. A little bit has to do with like, decision fatigue and, if I haven't got enough rest or stuff like that, or I have a lot of stuff going on, I just can't take that drain and just shift around the way that I need to. But yeah, so recognized it, jumped out immediately, saw that it was moving to the upside. One of the unique things that I did for today, and I've been talking about how we want to look for contracts at the $50 mark. Instead of me waiting for the price come down to $50, if you remember from my last 2 trades, because I thought I was talking on a lot of my trades out, but you guys have only gotten 2 days worth of my actually hearing me. But I and even when I would put in the notes, like for the description during the lives, I would talk a lot about the $50 contracts. But what I did today is I actually, when I saw this flicker, I marked this for you guys really quickly, and then I opened up my Robinhood account and I put a price that I wanted to buy it at $50. And sure enough, y'all, price came down, picked up my contract, and then we kind of just stayed. It was a really nice feeling too because in the past, I would I would get my contract up here, and I would try to hold, but I had such bad drawdown. I think it was like last week. Again, thought I was recording, but everything happens for a reason, because I feel much more confident even heading into this week. But um, I had bought a contract. I knew that when we had the internal breakout that we would go to the upside. Um, and but I remember sitting through it and I'm like, I'm sitting through drawdown, I'm getting in a little bit too early. And part of the problem, like what I'm trying to explain about today, is that price came down and picked up my contract at $50. And so when we had drawdown, it was just literally just like, you know, went to like 47, 48. I don't, I think the lowest we got at this point, I want to say was like maybe $45 on the contract, right? But I was comfortable holding a little bit longer, whereas if I had jumped in from up here, I would have been looking at like a 10, 15, 20% drawdown and then having to wait that much more longer for us to um, so that was kind of a little bit of a hack because what would happen too is I would try to hold excuse me. I'm coming off of a cold, and so the pesky part is that I'm coughing, but I feel fine. I feel much better. It's just like my throat, whatever. But trying to you know wait until price comes down here to VWAP and then get the order. Sometimes it's moving so fast that again, even if you do wait until here, you're still getting a much later fill, especially with Robinhood. Another important thing was that IWM likes to the institutions that trade this strategy with the internal breakout. They like to take their profit at 65 from 50 to 65. Okay, so it might not sound like a lot, but if you're scaling and you can kind of scale for that with that in mind. And so, sure enough, what happened is price did go to $65, and then it reversed. And then I think I got out at a very small loss again too, because I got nervous, right? Because did I have two? Yeah, I had two negative trades. Let me look at my notes here. I had an even smaller loss. Um, and yeah, I did put on my notes here. The second call did go to 65, and then it started to reverse. And part of the reason I jumped out, and I'm okay with it, is okay. We turned that into a lesson. We turned it into confirmation. Um, but I knew that we were going to try to come and fill this gap, and I just wasn't sure. You know, I think I actually did jump out a little bit too early because, well, I know I did because even just looking at this candle, I think I got out here, right? So price had retraced, that was fine. No, I want to say I got out. I want to say I got out here because I was chilling for a while, and then it occurred to me like, oh my gosh, I think we're gonna try to go to the downside. I don't know, something triggered me, and so I jumped out. And then when the candle closed, that was like, Okay, so that's one part of it. So then it came back up to $65 on the contract again. It was either this candle or this candle, and then it retraced. So I was like, okay, that's definitely, I've been seeing this as long as I've been tracking and journaling. So that's something to keep in mind. And then from there, we kind of rejected this resistance level. We failed to open above it. But I think where the gem is and what we need to remember um, is, did I put down what time the third contract? Yes, I did. Oh, you know what? Wait, was that a call or a put? I put the time, but I didn't put what the I didn't put what the if I did calls or puts. So our mantra for today, we're probably gonna keep this mantra for a couple of days. We could even have it for the rest of the month. I just go with how I'm feeling, right? So the mantra for yesterday and today was I am refining my strategy, I'm refining my execution, I'm refining how I journal. So anything that has to do with refining that pertains to um, our trading. So, all of these little things and talking it through, like, helps me, like, okay, no, tomorrow I need to remember to, and this is why I'm kind of working on a journal too, because it's so much easier when you just have the blocks there versus like trying to have to like rewrite it every single time. And then, when you're in the moment, if the block is already there and you just need to fill it in, it's easier than if you have to like, oh my gosh, let me try to remember. So I did put the time. I did put it was my third trade. I did put my entry price. I did put that um the reason for the call for the put or the trade was a fair value gap and internal break of structure. But the problem is, um, we had, I want to say like we did have this here. Let's try this. Let's look down here. Mm, quickly, quickly. Oh my goodness. 701. We're gonna look for a blues clue. Yeah, so what's interesting is that there's nothing here. It's 701. Anyway, so that's I'm going to refine that for tomorrow. But I think what's going to be important to remember when we do have gaps, that even if we decided not to take calls to the upside, um, and we were just going to say, you know what, I know IWM is going to fill a gap, and let's just wait for an internal bearish breakout to the downside. Um, I think so. What was so interesting is it hadn't quite occurred to me until a little bit late, like a couple of minutes later. And then that's where I decided to jump into this right here. And I held until we got to this 200 moving average. Is moving forward, we wait for this internal breakout to the downside, and we can hold with more confidence that we're going to hold through the gap. I have had this show up like right above the the gap, and we also had like a discount level right below it, so that allowed me to hold with more confidence through that level. Another thing, I did go in with bias on Wednesday about there being consolidation. So, and then part of it too is because I do go to work. I usually start to head out at 7:15. I have my own rules about when I want to get to work and that type of thing. I am a quiet type A personality, but so but right when I was getting ready to leave, which right here you can see this was like at 7:30, so I was still watching it. And at this point, we had already had this. And then I think what gave me confidence to jump in is I was like, oh, we have this order block and we have a fair value gap. That's when I decided to jump in. I did not remember to get a contract for $50. Um, I got in a contract for $59, but I felt okay with it at that price. I think really quick split rationality because rationalization of it is because I knew we were at that point we're trying to get to this gap. I did exit my trade early. I got out at this 200 moving level because I knew I had to go to work and I didn't want to hold for a major bounce and then wait for what could have potentially been, it playing out much later. So I just grabbed my profit. I had recovered from my other two losses. And so I got out here. If I had just waited and we are learning to execute with more precision, right? That's gonna be our mantra, like, and we're gonna keep stacking them. But if I had just waited for a little bit longer, um, just literally seconds, because I wasn't getting out at candle close. I was getting out when it got close to this level. We had another fair value gap, which was beautiful confirmation to stay and hold your trade a little bit longer. Um, and then from the time that this came up to here, this was a one-to-one move right here. So I marked this level off. And the other thing that's important to remember too, so to the upside, we did not get a one-to-one move. There was, if you go back and watch the video, we had another bullish internal breakout to the upside, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're really definitely, building, trying to get to the upside, but you see that it just kept failing, and we had a fall to break out to the upside, and so I don't know. I think I just felt protected and not jumping in again to try to get calls. I don't know. But as soon as I saw this, it just kind of like clicked like, okay, now we're going to fill that gap. And so, another critical area here, price did bounce off of this 50% level of the 1 hour gap. Excuse me. Gross. Um, was there anything else? And then for my trading community, I really wanted to just be done trading by 8:30. So that's why I had this level marked here. And so you could have, kept your runners. We opened beautifully below the 50% level of this gap, which usually, so it's almost like an order block in the sense that if we had filled, we would have, tried to flip to the upside from here. If you see that we came below, came back, retested, but we couldn't break above that 50% level, like literally. Because watch this. This is the, I'm going to delete it. I made the box with the 50% level on there, right? Because IWM loves 50%. And of everything, of fair value gaps, of order blocks, of regular gaps, equilibrium levels, discount levels. All right, and so I'm going to show you here. Yeah, so we got confluence to the downside. 8:30 would have come, and then let me see. Let me move my mouse up here. So I need to restart my computer. I had just restarted it on Monday, and it's slowing down. So we were below the fast EMA, and you can always hold, um, as long as you stay below the fast EMA. And so you would have gotten out, like price came up here, and then it opened here, came up, but closed below here, opened a little bit lower, came up, but closed down here, and then came and this like let's just train our minds for this. You know, I talk about how there's like different players, um, and you have the people that I follow. A lot of them like to use pivot levels, and so you can see this is a pivot level right here. The pivot level, the indicator itself is called pivot levels, right? Um, and these are daily pivot levels. And so you have support one, support two, support three going down or whatever, and then resistance up here, resistance one, two, three, four, whatever, right? Um, but you can see that once we broke below this level, the pivot people took us literally right down to this. Let me delete this because I want to make sure that that wick. It's so funny, like I don't know if you can see where my mouse is, and TradingView is just catching up. My poor little computer. All right, so I'm trying to delete this. There we go. Because I want to see the wick. So you see right here at 8:51. At that point, I don't know if you would have just gotten bored and decided to, call it a day, but you would have already had a one-on-one return. But this would have been a good take profit level, you know, and then you would have gotten out. Um, you could have gotten out right here. It kind of gave you a second attempt because it opened and then it just went completely down. It didn't wake down. It didn't wake up. I mean, so if you kind of missed this one, you would have just gotten out here for just a fraction. And then, sure enough, opened here, and if you didn't already get out, it would have um, opened above the fast CMA, and at that point, you should have just gotten out. You know, so but yeah, so that was interesting. This is one of the first times I've seen a gap on a Wednesday. Usually Wednesdays are consolidation days for me. Let me just look at my calendar. I don't think we've ever. Now we're about. Mm, yeah, this is one of the first times because usually Wednesdays tend to be consolidation days. Um, so I'm gonna put internal breakout up and then internal breakout down, and that's what filled the gap. This is an A plus setup type of day. Beautiful play. Um, yeah, let's go ahead and update this, and then I'm gonna go to my bed, y'all. I've been trying to go to bed early, so I'm going to mark this because when we have a bigger trading community, we're gonna go back and revisit all of these days. So this one was the first. Oh, come on. My computer tired too. First, internal breakout And this was at like 6:31. 6:31. Okay, to wait for first break out. Because I did jump the gun and I was like, oh, dang it. Ah, it was kind of funny. All right, let me try to put this one down here. I do feel hungry. I have snacks in the kitchen. Um, we did have another breakout here, but it failed, and then this popped up, and this became more prevalent. Prevalent, prevalent, prevalent. All right. So this was the second. Ooh. I don't think it was a 701. I think it was. mm, is it here? 727. We're going to be getting more precise at putting down the times and everything. Um, okay, to fill that below. Oh, 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 oh. 1 to 1. Return minimum. I'm gonna leave this gap here. I'm gonna put this. It was a 1 hour and 15 minute gap. I just left it at that because I had seen it on the 1 hour as well. The 1 hour gaps are solid. 15 minute, it's like a 60% hit or miss. 60% probability, but I have seen like on the 15 minute gap, like it, there's like those 4 out of 10 times where it just won't, if I really mess with it. Let's go ahead and update this. Oh, there was one more thing before I head up there, and then we're gonna close out. Mm-mm-mm. Remember how I put that the 8:30? And this is where you start to get chopped around. You see how small the candles are? And then we enter into more consolidation. There wasn't really much of a move after that, in my personal opinion. Um, some people, and I think as we get further along, I personally just don't see that there'd be any. Let me see it. It's already 8 o'clock, so I'm pretty sure today's stuff has been removed already on Robinhood. Because I think yesterday we checked it at 7 and it had already gotten moved. What's today? The 17th? Yeah, it's already gone. So, um, that being said, like if you're getting weight in early, you could keep your runners even through this uptick because you'd still be below the 200 and the VWAP. But general rule of thumb is as soon as you break above this fast EMA, it's a wrap. 10:30. Market always. Second session is at 10:30. You would have had confirmation here at 10:30. This little internal breakout would have popped up, but I doubt this was a one-on-one return. You're probably waiting for this break of structure right here. Wait for it to reject off the 200, off the fast EMA. But I could tell you right now, and then I don't even see anything around here to make you feel like, okay, what are we bouncing off of? If anything, this 15-minute rotation zone, I would have expected it to come to 50%. Like right around here. My mouse, I don't know if you can see it, it's like right here and it's taking time. My computer's lagging. My computer's tired, I'm tired. But yeah, so I just really recommend you just don't really hold past 8:30. But if you have like one runner that's still obviously gonna stay in profit. Um, it did run until the end of the day. Matter of fact, see, I was talking about how I was expecting it to I would have expected it to go to the 50% level of that rotation level. Yep, sure did. Like right here. Literally. I'm craving pizza. The problem is when like how I just did finished up 10 miles, um, you do get hungrier faster. Let's go ahead and close this out. Mm, how long is this stream? 32 minutes. Yeah, I need to try to invest, my time and space my time out throughout the day to get my more of my steps in earlier in the day because I prefer to do my post market analysis the same day. And like this morning, I felt like doing the post market analysis, even though it was helpful in the morning. Um, it really chewed into the time that we had set aside to do pre-market analysis. So, and we moved through it pretty quickly, you know. But a part of me was like, oh, I'll just do it tomorrow. No, because this would have definitely chewed into my pre-market analysis time. So today is Wednesday. We did have the 322 strategy. It did come up at 6:30. We had three internal. So we had two to the upside, one to the upside, one fake upside, and then we had one to downside that led to that fail. And let me just check because the first internal one, literally, you guys, I 6:30. Quickly, quickly. I want to say it was like 6:31 and something seconds. Let's see, six. No. Did it really go off at 6:30? I must have missed it because it must have flickered at no, but this is the 5 minute. That's what I was about to say. Yeah, okay, so I got in. It felt like a couple of like not even 2 minutes, but yeah, so the first one was at 6:33. And that contract moved from from $50 to 65. There was no data. Put that up here. The note doesn't even get lost in the sauce. The second internal breakout was fault. And then the third is breakout. The 1-to-1 sales gap. I'm going to leave it as it did hit 1-to-1. I think I explained it a little there. I'm going to delete those. Oh, yeah, I already put that there. Yes, in breakout, um, it did work. The note, the key is that is to wait. Patient. Wait for, I'm just going to say red means breakout before time position for gap fill. Ooh, I'm hungry. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I need to buy some groceries. It's part of the problem because I probably could have had something. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just literally gonna go get something to eat. I don't care. I don't like going to bed hungry. Let's figure something else out tomorrow. Um. Yeah, you guys. I don't know. Let's just go ahead and close it out. But let me copy this for tomorrow. I'm gonna try to front load that responsibility. Mm-mm. I'm craving pizza. But it's not, it's like 8:30. I'm not ordering pizza, I'll tell you that right now. On the weekend, yeah, but no. That's crazy. And I did eat. I had a really good breakfast burrito this morning. Um, let's put this for tomorrow. Because anything I can do to save myself time tomorrow. Because not gonna lie, like I feel like sometimes I feel like I want to sleep in and then I take a longer shower or something and then uh, um, what really saved me this morning is that I I woke up early and I did my uh, finished my exercise early, and that's not always the case with me. So let's go ahead and put this for tomorrow. Oh wait, how come it's not showing pre-market, post-market? Oh, okay, okay, okay. I see what's happening. The price came down with the year. All right, you guys. So I will catch up with you tomorrow. I am looking forward to building a small trade community. Of course, we're gonna start off really small, but I think first milestone. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's smaller milestones in between that, but I'm looking to build a community of 200 people that are looking to learn a trade that like, a little bit more hands-on, talking through the rationale of the trades. Um, and it's okay, like as we're building the community, I'm having a better idea of like how to communicate stuff a little bit better. Um, it is a lot because like even today, it's one thing to trade and it's another thing to like talk it through while you're trying to handle everything else, like writing notes for your own self and then maybe possibly even being distracted. So it's uh, be appreciative if you're in any other discourse or trading groups. Like I kind of low key understand why some of them don't really talk a lot after a while. They've probably been doing it for a while, but um, today I definitely felt it because I was like decision fatigue. This is a little bit early than I'm used to. Having to explain and talk through stuff while I'm journaling my own self. I'm gonna have to restart my computer. I know I've said it the third time, but my computer is overheating, and it just means I need to restart it. It doesn't like something that's probably running in the background. So we're gonna put this for tomorrow, right around the 6:30 mark. Oh yeah, what I was gonna say is that y'all, for OPEX quad witching on Friday, I really do feel like a lot of people felt like contracts were going to be closing higher. You know what? I can even look at the Robinhood and see what the contracts are for Friday, the 19th. So, where are the majority of puts? The majority of puts are at 250. There's 34,000. Oh, snap. 245. Oh, snap. There's 42,000. Oh, snap. At 240, the $240 put, it has 82,000. Holy. Oh, wow. The $235 put has 100,000. Y'all, I have never seen levels that high. Honestly, because I usually look at zero DTE. Let's look at the calls for Friday. Oh, the numbers are abysmal here. They're sparse. Honey, I'm talking about, yeah, this is going to be one for the, this is going to be one, like, whew. Like, okay, so, well, here's what I'm seeing. For calls, you have 200 and the 250 call for 76,000, but then from there it just drops down to like 4,000, 7,000, 13,000, 11,000. They're not bringing in 70,000, 80,000, 100,000. And then if you go lower, you only have like 165 open interest, 229. That's wild. All right, I'm gonna leave this here. I'm gonna restart because it's and then I just want to do one little tiny thing here. Make this Thursday, and then we'll just update it tomorrow. Tomorrow we do have data like Jada. Tomorrow we do have inflation pre-market at 5:30. We also have CPI at 5:30, jobless claims 5:30. So even though those are all pre-market Pacific Standard Time, you better trust and believe that's gonna, we're gonna be scrambling to kind of adjust for what happens pre and post market. All right, you guys, I hope this was helpful to you. I'll catch you guys in the morning. Bye.